Yo, what is good YouTube? Matty Dubs here, back with another video, guys. We have some more breaking news, notes, highlights, observations from another day here in Dallas for Cowboys training camp. In this video, I want to talk about a couple of guys to look out for during their first preseason game with the Jaguars. Some guys who may or may not be on the bubble that just need to have a good showing versus the Jaguars. So I'm going to go over that while showing you some of the highlights from last practice. Before we get into that, though, make sure you guys do me a big favor by smashing that like button just so we can help get this video to more Cowboys fans around the world, but also subscribe to the channel if you're new. I will be covering the entirety of the offseason, which includes training camp, preseason, regular season, signings, trades, anything you can think of. I've got you guys covered, as well as I will be live streaming games throughout the season, including Cowboys games. So make sure you guys join the family, try and post notifications. But without any further ado, let's get into the video. Now, the first guy I have on my list here is no other than cornerback Kelvin Joseph. Now, listen, he's a guy who they had a lot of high hopes for as a former second-round pick, I believe in 2021. But to be completely honest, he's getting outplayed by multiple different people, including Deshaun Wright and Deron Bland, and even D'Angelo Mandel, an undrafted rookie this season, is playing better than Kelvin Joseph over the last few weeks here of training camp. Now, these next few days, these next few weeks are absolutely crucial for him and his future in the NFL. Now, what I mean by that is if he can put out some good plays here and make a name for himself throughout the first week of preseason, next 2 weeks of preseason games, I think that he could potentially still make this team. However, right now, where it stands right this second, I feel like he is definitely a cut candidate. Now, listen, as a former second-round pick, he's going to get another opportunity somewhere. Whether that be in the NFL or the XFL or the UCFL. Talent was never the issue for him in college, but right now he is really struggling to be consistent and really maintain his talent. So that is definitely something I want to look out for, and I want you guys to watch throughout the first game of preseason. Kelvin Joseph is definitely a guy who I think can make the team, but as of right now, it doesn't look like he's going to. He's only really appeared on or been a bright spot on special teams throughout his career so far. So I really want to see if he can, get a little bit better going into the first couple of games of preseason. Now, another guy who could be on the roster bubble is Simi Fehoko. Now, he's definitely had a couple of bad practices over the last couple of weeks. He has some good ones as well, but there's been a lot of guys breaking out here in this wide receiver room. Obviously, you have Gallup, you have CD, you have Brandon Cooks. Those are your four cemented three wide receivers. Now, behind them, Jalen Tolbert has looked amazing. Gavante Turpin is not only looked good as a receiver, as a running back, but he's also one of their best return men, so he's going to make the team. Jalen Brooks has been a phenomenal 7th-round pick this season. He looks like he's starting to break out here. You got Jalen Cropper, who also looks really good. Dennis Houston, Teron Johnson. So they have a bunch of guys. Ontario Drummond. These guys are looking good. Simi Fehoko is a guy who, if he doesn't step up, he might not make this team going forward. So that is definitely another big unknown right now. So his performance, or maybe I should say the lack of performance he's had at over camp so far, is something that's very telling and something that needs to change going into the start of the preseason games. He needs to be better, and he needs to start to break out here over the next few weeks. And if he does, then maybe he does end up making this roster. And the last guy I have is Neville Gallimore. Neville Gallimore was highly regarded by NFL fans and media as a a big steal when he was drafted in the 3rd round back in 2020. But another one of those guys who just hasn't done really anything. I feel like he had a good rookie year, but since then, he really started to fall apart and never totaled more than 4 tackles per game throughout his career, and slowly is just, I feel like, digressing over his time here in Dallas. I feel like maybe he's not taking his work seriously, or maybe he is. He just can't put it together and be consistent with it. But he is another guy that I want you guys to look out for over the remainder of the preseason. He's a guy that, like I said, might not be able to make this roster. They have Mazi Smith, who's been absolutely amazing. I mean, even Micah Parsons is gushing about Mazi Smith's pass rushing ability. So he's going to make the team. Osa, you got Jonathan Hankins, you got Chauncey Golston, who's looked pretty good, Quinton Bohanna, who's looked pretty good as well. So, I mean, Neville Gallimore is I wouldn't say a long shot to make the team, but it is in doubt right now. It is what I would say. Now, Hit that like button. I'm very interested to see the running back room as well. You got Rico Dowdle, you got Malik Davis, you got Deuce Vaughn. All those guys I'm excited to see. And then I'm excited to see Luke Schoonmaker. He's got some work to do to make up some ground in that tight end room. Looks like Jake Ferguson is going to be the starting tight end for them going forward, but there's still some time left to see what he can do. Guys, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, turn on post notifications. Those are the 3 guys you guys should be looking out for over the next couple of days of preseason. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. And if you love playing fantasy sports like football, basketball, baseball, and so many other sports, but also love being able to win money, you're going to want to stick around for this whole segment. Introducing Underdog Fantasy, the ultimate platform for fantasy sports lovers. Do you want to experience the thrill of drafting your team and competing for huge prizes? Well, look no further. With Underdog Fantasy, you get access to a wide range of fantasy sports, including football, basketball, baseball, and so much more. But here's what makes Underdog Fantasy stand out from all of those other apps. They've got quick and user-friendly drafting process, a unique and exciting game formats, fair and competitive contests for all skill levels, and attractive bonuses and promotions. Not only can you draft teams and compete with others, but you can also play a game of higher and lower, which is personally my favorite thing to do on there, but you can potentially win 20 times the money you put down. And if you use code MattyDubs when you sign up, Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. And what that means is basically when you deposit, let's say $100, they'll give you a free $100 to use and play with. Click the link in the description to get started, or head to the website right now to start dominating the fantasy world. And don't miss out on all the fun. Be a part of the Underdog community starting now. And don't forget, if you use code MattyDubs, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Let's get started. Get into drafts with me starting today.